All right. Hi, everyone. This is Matt Renner, head of sales with Track and Resorts and Lodges. And we're excited to have Doug uh, join us for another one of our presentations and webinars to help our customers increase their direct bookings, increase their conversions, drive better service, and the like. For those of you that don't know what Track is, Track Pulse is a call tracking CRM lead management system that helps independent lodging companies increase inbound bookings and add outbound revenue, manage contacts, track campaigns, track marketing campaigns, and just overall increase their direct revenue. So if you're interested in finding out more about how Track works or if it might be a fit for your company, we'd love to share it with you. Reach out to your account manager here with Resorts and Lodges. This presentation today is focused on um, increasing the personalized benefits and descriptions that really help you sell to what the caller is calling about. Doug is a world-class trainer and one of our partners, and he'll be walking you through. We hope you enjoy and get a lot from it. And afterwards, we'll be providing you with a link to the video online so you can go and share it with your team. So without further ado, our partner Doug will take it away.
Thank you very much, Matt. It's great to be back doing another webinar for our alliance partners at Track Pulse, and we welcome also the Resorts and Lodges clients. This is part of a seminar, webinar series that we started at the beginning of the year. We've presented 4 different topics so far. So some of you have been with us for the whole journey. Others, as I see in our attendance list today, are joining us for the first time. So we will do a brief review. The previous webinars, I believe most of them are still available. If you contact your Resorts and Lodges or Track individual, they'll be able to track down one of the copies for you. And we also are recording this today. So welcome, everyone. Again, I'm Doug Kennedy with Kennedy Training Network. We provide training worldwide in the topic areas of reservations, hospitality and guest service, hotel sales, and related topics. We advocate for and highly recommend the Track Pulse system. It's a wonderful tool to manage what I call the storefront window of your hotel. Of course, most properties these days are looking to increase those direct bookings and wean ourselves off of the online travel agencies, the OTAs, the third parties. No better way to do so than to convert those people who are tracking you down, finding your phone number, and calling you directly. So our theme today is presenting personalized benefit descriptions, and I use the theme of alluring and enticing our callers. So why is it we want to allure and entice? In the past, what we had to do was list, inform, and notify those on the other end of the phone line of the wonderful benefits that our hotels, resorts, vacation rental companies had to offer. Years ago, not that many years ago, at least it doesn't seem like it to me, in the 90s and even up to the early 2000s before we got to where we are today, where pretty much everyone has the phone, has the computer, not only at home, but the phone in our pocket is the computer. Years ago, not that many years ago, people had very little information. They relied on one of these old-fashioned things you see here, the phone book. They just passed these out in our office building. They've been sitting in the hallways now for about a week. I don't think anyone has brought them inside. But years ago, that's how people found hotels. Or they would call 800 directory assistants, or they would call the local tourism or chamber of commerce to get a package of brochures and information. In today's world, we have so much information available now that the balance of power has actually shifted to the caller's side of the equation. Now, especially for resorts that have a lot of inventory, and definitely for vacation rental companies where you're selling privately owned condominiums and homes, the people that call us in a lot of ways know more about what we're selling than we know because they've taken a virtual tour of that specific accommodation. They have read online guest reviews. So as we looked at previously, most of today's callers have been online while they're on prior to calling, or many of them are online while they're on the phone. As we've joked about in the past, this is why we get the question, hello, where are you? Are you there? Or if you have a switchboard, they will call up the switchboard and say, or they think you're the switchboard operator and you answer directly. They will say to you, the reservationist, hello, is this in-house reservations? So they want to know they've got somebody who knows the answers. Why? Because the people that call today are generally the ones where the online tools have failed them. Okay, so they have special requests, they have special needs, they have dietary concerns, they have allergies. They have a very small, well-behaved pet, a little dog, only 20 pounds, never barks, never sheds, has no fleas, hasn't bitten anyone in at least 17 months. So there's usually a reason they call directly. A lot of times that person has read guest reviews. They've been to TripAdvisor, which is by far and away still the number one place guests go to for information, particularly for a place they've never been, particularly for an independent hotel. They also visit Flipkey. They visit Yelp. They go to Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Maybe not always the Twitter and Instagram for your hotel, not yet. I don't know how many people actually follow the tweets of hotels, who has time for that. But they will visit your hotel, your resort Facebook page. But they read tweets and they see Instagram postings when their friends and coworkers and family are visiting with you. And that can be a great tool for us. As a result, people today are very confused. Interestingly, the more information we put out there as an industry, the more confused and frustrated we have made our callers. That's where we've looked at in the past, previous webinars. We want to ask what it is. We want to find out what it is they need to know that they haven't seen online. Why did they pick up the phone to call us instead of just booking? So they're confused by reviews, or also they have visited, if they haven't been on TripAdvisor reading reviews, they probably have been to an online travel agency or a listing site. And of course, we have the OTAs here. So Expedia, Hotels.com, Booking, vacation rental companies, professionally managed organizations, know about HomeAway and VRBO. And of course, you have wonderful listing sites, which I always want to mention, our host resorts and lodges. So when people go to these websites, they see a lot of choices. So in addition to being confused by online guest reviews and social media postings, they're also overwhelmed by the number of choices they see. Now, let's say they make their way all the way to your company or resort website. Now think about how many choices they have. Now, if you're a resort, oh, good, you narrowed it down to about 10 different room types. Or if you're a vacation rental company and you have 100 units, each one is its own room type. And as a result, if you make a connection with people, you can do the one thing a website cannot do. And that's our theme today. It is not our job to help them find what's available. They don't need us for that. It is our job to help them decide, to help them commit. And today in this webinar, we're going to look at tools we can use for doing that. So in summary, the point is they already have plenty of information. And rather than jumping into a list, a scripted list of features, what I call today the elevator speech or the 30-second commercial, okay? Rather than doing that, we want to find out who they are, what they need to know, and what we have to say to just get them to decide to commit instead of proceeding back online, okay? Now, if they go online to a listing service like Resorts and Lodgings, that's fine. That's going to lead them back to us. But if they book our hotel, our resort through Expedia, through Booking.com, through Hotels.com, it's going to cost us a significant amount of revenue. So we really want to ask the right question today to figure out who they are, what it is they're looking for, and then we can make the major transition from helping them find what's available to instead helping them decide and commit. Now, as a repeat from our previous webinars, asking the right questions. Okay, you see the word quest. That's the name of our on-site training program at KTN. That's the name of our DVD. That is the name of our program because today Callers are on a quest for a place to stay. We're on a quest for one more booking. And in today's world, the way we meet our needs and help them meet their needs is to ask the right questions. The most important question of all, as I'm checking those dates, are there any questions I can answer for you about our location, about our amenities, and our services? If we do that, we can help them decide instead of helping them find what's available. Now for our theme of today's workshop. Why is it important to allure and to entice our callers? We know in today's world, most of our callers have already been online. They have already seen the pictures. And most of our websites, especially our webinar today, and looking at our registration list, we have a lot of independent resorts, independent hotels, vacation rental companies, and your niche of lodging in particular is invested heavily on website development. So we have wonderful images. We have also the most popular site at TripAdvisor, at least the way I've been told, are the real traveler photos. I know that's where I go. It's nice to see what they call the manager's photos, which are the same ones from your website. But where you really find out the truth is from the real traveler photos, which sometimes are not always so flattering. So we've got people that have seen pictures. They've also read the bulleted list of facts about, or the kind of the feature list of facts about our resorts and our accommodations. You wonder, why do they still call? In fact, if you would have surveyed hotel and lodging industry marketing executives around the year 2000, and you would ask them, hey, 2016, how many people you think are still going to call? They would have said nobody, because no one is supposed to call. That's why you're no longer supposed to have a job selling reservations. I am no longer supposed to have a job training you to sell reservations, because, folks, it is already going on 2017. Most of the summer season for this year is behind us. Unless you're a ski resort, you're on the downhill side of season. So here in the 2017 booking season, coming up soon, okay, no one is supposed to call, and yet they do. So in years past, people like me trained reservation agents like you to tell callers what was available. Tell you about the resort. Oh, we have 127 guest rooms. We have a restaurant and a bar and a pool. We have a golf and a spa and a tennis. We tell you about the rooms, 400 square feet. There's a balcony with the view. There's an iron and an ironing board and a hair dryer. And that hair dryer always gets it for me. So that's what we did in the past. We gave the elevator speech. We simply said, have you stayed with us before? And depending on their answer, we jumped into our scripted mode. Sometimes I train people to say, oh, what brings you in? And they might say, oh, we're a couple, we're a family. And then, we would tailor the speech just for our little speech for families or a speech for romantic getaway couples. But today we have callers that already have all the information and they're still calling. So we got to go beyond listing the facts, feature dumping. Someone actually said feature puking, feature spewing. We got to go beyond telling them back what they already know. And another thing, we don't want to send them back online. A lot of resort people are doing that. Have you stayed with us before? No, I haven't. Do you have a room in mind? No, I don't. Have you been to our website? There's great pictures there. Check them out. Give us a call back when you know what you want, and I'll take that booking. In that event, we treat the reservations call as if it was a tech support call. So today we want to know, they probably already went there before they called us. They probably are online at the website while they're on the phone, unless, of course, they're calling from the phone that they went online on, which happens a lot where people do mobile searches. So today, our job then is not to tell them what's available, but to narrate the pictures they're seeing. You see, we have to make those pictures come to life. They're looking at the view. They're looking at the beach. They're looking at the mountains. They're asking you, what's the view like? What's the beach like? It's like a beach. Okay, is it just a beach? Is it just a mountain view? Is yours just a resort? So on that note, it's time for my demonstration. If you've been in my on-site training workshops, or if you've seen me as a conference speaker for various hotel associations, you probably know the story here, but if so, please bear with me. If not, you're probably wondering, why is Doug Kennedy showing us a picture of a cat? Am I on the wrong webinar? I thought this was about selling hotels. And if you look at the animal in the picture here, I ask you now, what do you see? When I do this in person, I ask people to raise their hands, and I say, what do you see here? Well, first, when I put the picture up, half the room groans, and half of the room coos. My groaners go, ugh, it's a cat. And I call them and say, what do you see, groaners? I see an animal on my couch. Why is this animal on the couch? Somebody else might say, I see evil eyes looking right through me. I see a sneeze waiting to happen. And then the cooers, they go, oh, oh. I say, what do you see? They say, oh, a cute, cuddly animal. It's someone's pet. It has a collar. Look at those beautiful eyes. The eyes are evil. They're so pretty. But either way, what you see when I flash this picture is pretty much just a cat. A black and white animal, pink paws, pointy ears, and green eyes. Could be anyone's cat. Could be any cat in the whole world, except it's not just a cat. This animal happens to be a special cat. Her name is Shadow, and she is my cat. And I assure you, Shadow is a special animal. Now, there's a story to be told behind this animal. Because you see, Shadow we've had now for 9 years. We got her years ago when my kids were very small. And if any parents out there, you know, when the kids are little, they beg you for the pet. Oh, please, Mommy, can we have a kitty? Please, Dad, we'll take care of it. We'll change that litter box. We'll feed it. So finally, we gave in, and my wife took the kids to the Broward County Humane Society. If you've ever been to a rescue shelter, you know, I guess they kind of try to tear at our hearts, the shelter workers. They tear at our hearts because on top of every cage, they put a cute little name. On top of this particular cage was the name Shadow. And they picked Shadow out of all the animals there that day. They brought her home. The next day, of course, you have to wait a day to make sure you don't change your mind. They brought home Shadow, and they had a big debate at my kitchen table. Should we keep the name Shadow? Should we change it? Should we keep the name? Should we change it? Little did they know, years later, how perfect the name would be for this animal when they voted to keep the name Shadow. Because now, 9 years later, Shadow has become my Shadow. Now, as you might know, if you have kids, as I said, you know, they're going to take care of the pets. But once the kids get older, they really could care less about the pets. But that's okay. They could care less about the parents, too. But the pets still love Mom and Dad. And, of course, a year later, we became a two-pet household when they convinced my wife to also get a dog named Maxie. And now that the kids are older, the pets have adopted us. My wife is in love with the dog. She comes home from work. Oh, hi, Douglas. How are you? Maxie boy, come here. Oh, how are you? And I'm sitting there going, what about me? Remember me, your husband? But that's okay, because Shadow is always there waiting for me. When I pull up to the house, she's the shadow in the window. When I walk in the door, she shadows me around. When I watch the news, she's on the sofa, on the arm, right next to me. When I pack my bag for my next trip, she is in my suitcase, trying to keep me from going. And when I walk out that front door, she shadows me to the front door. Now, I know some of you are wondering, why is Doug talking about his cat? That was cute, Doug. But hopefully you can understand how this relates to what you do every single day. Think about the differences in the descriptions. And I hope you see how this relates to what we do when we narrate the pictures they've already seen online. They have seen your views. They have seen your amenities. They've taken the virtual tour. And now they're asking you, are you there? Oh, good. I have a question. How's the beach? I know what you people really want to say. Well, it's like a beach. What's the beach like there? There's sand and water and wind and waves. How's the views there in the mountains? Well, when you look out, you see the mountain view. There's trees and birds. So we got to go beyond telling them what they're going to see and instead narrate the picture they have already seen. Now, why is that? Well, for one reason, guests don't believe the pictures they see online anymore. If you have a minute after today's webinar, go on Google, okay, or if you're a Bing person, there's a few of you out there, or maybe ask Siri. Check out Oyster, just do a search for Oyster Photo Fakeouts, okay, and you will see Oyster.com is a company bringing back the paid reviews, paid professional guest reviews, and as opposed to just, online customer reviews at TripAdvisor. So they do professional reviews, and they have part of their website that they call Photo Fakeouts. It's quite entertaining, as you see here in the cover shot. They go to the hotel website, and they show a picture of the website, and then they actually go directly to that hotel and take a picture from that same feature, amenity, or service of what you actually see when you get here, okay, when you get there. So you'll see city hotels, resorts, mountain resorts, beach resorts, all different kinds of hotels. And now, if you ever get the question, which I bet a lot of you have, does it look like it looks in the picture? Now, you know why people ask that. So we have to narrate that picture. Instead of listing the facts and the square footage or the square meters for our Canadians, we want to narrate the picture, and I love the word allure. To allure is what we want to do today. To allure is to entice is to attract by appealing their emotional desires. We want to tell the story about the vacation that they're going to have in your hotel, okay? Or if you are, we have a few corporate hotels here today, or maybe you're a resort that gets some business travelers. We want to talk about this productive business trip they're going to have. But we want to tell the story. We want to tell the story of how they're going to receive it, how they're going to enjoy it, rather than listing the facts. So allure and entice rather than inform and notify. Now, I want you to think about why we have to do this. Think of all the money that guest is paying to stay with you. Now, on the hotel management side, we talk about something called RevPAR, which I'm sure at least our resorts have heard of, revenue per available room, okay? That's how we look at it. We had 100 rooms. There was 80% occupancy. How much revenue do we get per each of our available rooms, not just the ones that were occupied? And similarly, vacation rental companies are getting more and more into revenue management and are looking at revenue per available rental week. But that's how we look at it. Thankfully, our guests don't look at it like that, because if they actually calculated the amount of revenue they paid for every hour they spend awake in our accommodation, it would be an outrageous amount of money. Now, let's say you charge $200 a night, moderately priced for a lot of the resorts here. I think quite a few of you are charging more than that this summer. So, think about it. What time is check-in? Oh, 4 o'clock. What time is departure? 11 a.m., unless we can honor your request. Now, we give them from 4 to 11. They're probably going to sleep 8 hours. They're probably going out to dinner. Okay, they're probably going to go outside and do some sightseeing. The amount of time that they're left with awake in our accommodations might be 2, 3, 4 hours max. So $200 a night, 4 hours awake, $50 an hour, that's almost $1 a minute. So we had better be really good at selling experiences and not being a room renter. Okay? If all you do is rent rooms, you're nothing better than a website. Siri could replace you. She's pretty good at recognizing words. She does a lot better for my teenage son than me. She always gets my information wrong. But he asks Siri everything. I, meanwhile, go to www.weather.com, click on search, put in Fort Lauderdale to find out what the weather's going to be. My son picks up the phone and says, "Hi, Siri, what's the weather going to be like tomorrow?" Siri can inform, Siri can notify, Siri can tell you the price. Siri cannot tell you a story. She cannot allure you. She cannot entice you. Okay? Now, how do we tell stories? A great way to tell a story is to start with the word or the phrase, imagine yourself, and then follow up and tell them about how they will enjoy their vacation. So rather than saying, we have a pool, we're overlooking the mountains, we're overlooking the beach, imagine yourself stepping out on that balcony as you overlook the pool and the mountains in the distance or the beach in the background, and you watch the waves crashing and you watch the seabirds flying and circling, and you feel that fresh mountain air or the warm tropical breezes. Imagine yourself when you watch the colorful, picturesque sunsets. Imagine yourself having a warm coffee, a hot coffee in the morning, or a nice glass of local wine from the region in the evening. Imagine yourself enjoying a tropical frozen drink on a warm day when you enjoy the pool views. And that's what we want to do. So imagine yourself is a great way to lead into storytelling. Another very easy method to use is what I call the just for you sales approach. Now, in our business, we are all about ourselves. We like to talk about ourselves. We say we have, we offer, we have, we offer, we have, we offer. But guess what? They don't care. They don't care what we have. Customers are selfish. Customers are self-centered, self-focused. But guess what? At $50 an hour, at $1 a minute, a wait time, they have a right to be selfish. So we want to use the just for you sales approach. That's going to help them picture themselves enjoying what it is you are describing. All right. So what we want to do here is very easy. We simply want to replace we have with you will enjoy. We want to replace we offer with you will receive. Okay. So I want to point that out. Please let me be clear on this. You do not have to say just for you. This is why I have it in parentheses. Parentheses indicate special meaning or usage. Okay, so if we use you instead of we, it would sound like it is just for you. All right, so we don't have to say just for you. That could present problems. If we have any front desk people here on the webinar today, I know you're getting nervous about this. Ooh, I don't know about that one, Doug. If our agents say just for you, there's a pool, that's going to be a problem. The guests will show up at the front desk and say, you know, I talked to Rachel in reservations. She said, just for you, there's a pool, and there are people in my pool. Why are you in my pool, people? Why are you at my beach? So, just for you, there's a restaurant. Get out, everyone. It's mine. Just for you is how we want to make it sound. Okay? If we say we, it makes it all about us. But if we say you, it makes it all about you. You, the caller, you, the listener. And that's a wonderful and easy way to grab the attention of the person on the other end of the phone line. Because we really got to work to grab their attention. As we've covered in other webinars, we know what they're doing. Okay? Some of you might be old enough to remember when the phone was on the wall in the kitchen, and when we talked on the phone, we like focus on the person and listen. Now, that phone is everywhere that you are. So, we have people that are washing the dishes. We hope, at least when we hear that running water, I always hope it's the dishes. Sometimes it doesn't sound that way. We have people that are disciplining their kids. We have people that are attending little Johnny's soccer match. We have people calling from work and putting you, the agent, on hold. And we have people driving. So we've got to grab their attention. And if we say we offer, we're just another voice on the phone. We might as well be Siri. But if we say you can enjoy, you can take advantage of, you can benefit from, that is how we grab attention. And this is why you see this all the time. I'll give you a little homework assignment. If you start to watch those ads on television, next time you have your TV on, okay, I know what most of you do. Ad comes on, you pick up your phone, you check your Facebook, okay, or if you're under 22, you probably are on Snapchat. You're never on Facebook because that's where your parents are. Or you're fast forwarding because you TiVo'd it or you DVR'd it, okay? Or you flip channels, which is what I do. But instead of doing all that, actually watch the commercials, and they fight for your attention. And one of the ways they do that is they talk to you. I would say about 1 out of every 5 commercials these days are for some type of pharmaceutical, prescription drug. If you think about it, what do they all say? Ask your doctor, okay? Ask your doctor about. And then they say, if you stop breathing, turn blue, and fall on the ground, please discontinue use and consult your doctor immediately. Ask your doctor about this drug. Can you imagine if we actually asked our doctor about all the drugs we see ads for? You go in for your annual physical. You'd be like, hey, doc, how are you? Oh, I'm good. How are you? Oh, listen, I got a few questions. You have a list of 20 drugs. They would think you're crazy. But it sure gets our attention, all right? Same with insurance companies. Allstate, you're in good hands. Nationwide, they're on your side. The Geico, 15 minutes will save you 15% or more. Progressive, you can name your own price. And then Liberty Mutual is the new company. They actually have the storytellers that walk into the screen. It's like a real man on the street kind of setting. And, the first one I remember was the one of the teenage girl. You had your first car. You named him Brad. You love Brad. And then one day you wrecked Brad. And then Liberty Mutual called the new car replacement. And you forgot all about Brad. So insurance companies know this. Pharmaceutical companies know this. They do research. They find out what is sticky. We know it too. And it's an easy way for us. So instead of being a we seller, be a you seller. Next up, 2 more ways. One of the hardest ways of the webinar today. It's really not that hard, but it's so easy to use the word you, and the last one is easy. This one takes a little more focus, takes a little more attention, but think about the language you use every day. I want to encourage you to expand your vocabulary. Go outside of those comfort words and try to find words that truly sell the experience. So expand your vocabulary of visually and emotionally descriptive language. Now, if you don't think about this, or if you think about it, but you say, yeah, whatever, Doug, I always do it the same way, you probably are migrating to your own comfort words. If you're a TrackPulse customer, I'm sure you had a chance to hear yourself recorded. A little intimidating at first, but always a learning experience. And I do listen to my own webinar recordings, by the way. Just as I hope you listen to your own calls with an open mind. That's how we learn. That's how we improve. But when you first started and you heard your first call recording on TrackPulse, you might have noticed you were a beautiful and great seller. Oh, the resort is beautiful. The food's really great. The views are beautiful. The people are really great. Or if you're from the South, you might be an awesome seller. How's the views? Awesome. How's the beach? Awesome. Y'all have a spa? How is it? Awesome. What about golf? Awesome too. So go outside of awesome, go outside of beautiful, go outside of nice, and find words that allure and entice. Okay? So those are our buzzwords today. Allure and entice them. Don't inform and notify them. A great resource that I suggest just for you. Go to your own website. Okay? You have paid professionals, either your in-house marketing folks or you have an ad agency that helps you come up with language for your website that narrates those pictures, that tells the experience. I would suggest that you print that out, grab yourself a highlighter, highlight those words, and you're going to find words that allure and entice right there for you to use. Okay. Now, not that you want to read them, and we don't want to give everyone a script. Managers, don't get the wrong idea. We don't want to have everyone sounding like a robot. We don't want to hand out, hey, you know what, if they ask for about the beach, here's what you say. How's the beach there? Oh, hold on, sir, just a moment. We have sparkly, pretty azure blue waters with pristine sugar sand beach. You want a bucket? You want a bucket? Okay, so we have to put it in our own words. It has to sound conversational. But use words that appeal to their emotion more so than their intellect. Now, finally, our last method to discuss today in our webinar to allure and entice them. Our last method is to use needs-based recommendations, suggestions, and endorsements. Very powerful selling tool today. If you were with me for the previous webinars, we talked about the importance of asking questions to gain control and to help them decide. Okay, because people have a hard time deciding now. There's so many choices. If you're interested and you haven't already done so, I know I recommended it in previous webinars, but go onto Google, check out choice overload problem. Okay, and if you put in choice overload problem TED Talk, you actually should find 2 TED Talks that come up. TED Talks being the 15-minute talks on technology, education, and design. That's the word TED. There's some very interesting TED Talks out there, by the way. But you can find one by Sheena Lyengar, Sheenalyengar. Okay, and in particular, I like her TED Talk regarding the choice overwhelm problem and the JAM study. You can also look up that. So she is a consumer research expert that's a professor at Columbia University, and she will talk to you about consumers today. We face so many choices, and every single day there's more choices to be made. So we love it when there's somebody that will recommend, when there's someone that will suggest it, okay, especially if it's based on our needs, or at least somebody to endorse it and say, excellent choice. Now, with this choice overwhelm problem, I don't know if anyone can relate to this, but you know, I picked a waiter here, food server, as a example. I don't know about you, but have you ever gone to a restaurant? There are so many choices that you can't pick, and you're so busy talking to your client or your coworker or your colleague that it is literally overwhelming. I had this happen yesterday at a business luncheon in North Miami. I went to a 5-star spa resort, and they literally had, it must have been 30 items on the menu. Fortunately, we asked about specials, and they whipped out the specials menu, which narrowed it down to 6. So even at 6, I was a little overwhelmed. So I asked my waiter, what do you recommend? You know, the first thing a good waiter says is what he said. 5-star hotels know this. What do you prefer tonight, sir? What do you prefer today, sir? What do you feel like for lunch today? Do you want something light? Do you like steak? Do you enjoy pasta? Do you like seafood? Based on that, they will recommend, suggest an option just for you. Well, if you like this, it will be a great choice. So that goes back to saying, hey, what brings you to our resort? What brings you to our hotel? Really? No kidding. Well, do you have any questions for me? Yes, I do have a question. The more we engage them in conversation, the more we find out what they're looking for. And the more we find out what they're looking for, the better we can recommend, suggest, and endorse. All right? So we want to reassure them they're making a good choice. And this is something you can do that a website can't do. This is something you can do that your competitors that are not on this webinar today, they're probably not doing, okay? Because they think it's their job to help those callers find what's available. They treat reservations as if it was website search support for that person that is not smart enough to check availability themselves and see their own rates for their own dates. But unlike websites, we can do something a website can't do, and Siri cannot do this. She cannot recommend, she cannot suggest, she cannot endorse. So try to put it on their needs, though. The strongest recommendations are when you say, since you mentioned, whatever it is you mentioned, this would be a great option because, all right, so let's put that into context. Since you're bringing your wife for your 10th anniversary, this would be a great option because since you mentioned you're traveling with the family, this room category would be a great option for you. Or put it on third parties. Other guests like you that are bringing families, other guests like you that are on the Lady Friends getaway, okay, they love this accommodation because you'll have all the shared space. So, again, the more we find out, is it for adults or is it, we want to find out how many adults and children? Oh, 4. What brings you in? Oh, it's a girlfriend's getaway, all right? That's been a traditional vacation now, the last 5, maybe even 10 years now, where we have, I guess women like to get away from their husbands. I know my wife has done this a few times. She calls up all of her girlfriends that she used to work with or that she grew up with, sometimes family members, and they all get away. They leave us husbands at home to, I guess, make us appreciate them more. But now the latest thing I actually just read in today's Hotel News Now online trade magazine, mancation is the latest. It's called a mancation. I've heard of a man cave. I've heard of a staycation. Now we have a mancation. And I guess men now are having the bros get away. So maybe I'll have to tell my wife, hey, I'm going with my bros. So other guests like you that are on a mancation love our resort, okay, because you can enjoy a cigar and a cocktail after a wonderful day at our picturesque, challenging golf course. So finally, I also want to mention indoors. If they have a room type in mind, if it's available, or if they're renting a home from you and that home is available, just tell them, excellent choice, one of our most popular accommodations. Sometimes people need that reassurance. This is why they call you up and say, hello, are you there? Are you on site? Oh, good. I have a question. Is it nice? I don't know what they expect us to say. Actually, no, it's not nice. Don't stay here, okay? I don't really like our hotel. I just answer calls for it. So it's good if people ask you, is it a nice hotel? Is this a good choice for me? But it's great when you recommend, suggest, or especially indoors. So if they say, hi, I'm looking at your Deluxe King, or I'm thinking about this Ocean View Suite, or I'm thinking about this Mountain Villa, just say, excellent choice. Have you ever had the waiter do that for you? When they do, I don't know about you, but when somebody says, oh, sir, excellent choice, somehow that food tastes a lot better. Now, we want to use these concepts throughout the calls, whether you're talking about your destination and location, whether you're talking about your amenities, services at your hotel, at your resort, or if you're a focused service, meaning you have only rooms, then you want to be selling amenities and services in the area and the region. Whether you're talking about your destination, whether you're talking about amenities and services, or whether you're talking about the accommodations themselves, you want to use these concepts throughout. Okay, so we've talked about a few different ones. We talked about the just for you selling, okay, the storytelling, you stories, you will enjoy, or imagine yourself. Okay, so the word you grabs their attention. Throw in some visuals and emotionals to what they're going to feel, what they're going to see. We want to tell to their emotion, not just their intellect. And finally, add an endorsement. Excellent choice. Add a recommendation. These are both great options. You can use these concepts whether you're selling the destination of your town or city, whether you're selling your location within that destination, whether you're selling amenities and services, or whether you're selling accommodations themselves. In fact, I recommend for you to use these concepts throughout the call. When you search your availability, when those 3 or 4 room categories come up, instead of saying we have standard, superior, deluxe, or instead of saying we have a 1-bedroom, a 2-bedroom, and a 3-bedroom, or instead of saying we have a first row home, and a second row home, and a third row home, say there's 3 options I can recommend for you. Okay? If you want the best, I would suggest this. If you're looking for the most value for the price paid, this is an excellent choice. And if you want something in the middle, this would also be perfect for you. They're all great choices. So I hope this has been helpful. I want to finish out, though, to remember to say, how does that sound so far? Does that sound like it's going to meet your needs? And then if they like what they're saying, they say, yeah, that sounds pretty good. What are we going to see next, people? I hope you're all thinking, can I secure it for you? May I hold it for you? May I reserve that for you? And that's what we want to do. And that's actually the theme of our next webinar, which will be coming up in September, and to close the sale. Okay, when they start, we want to check in and say, how does that sound so far? Did I meet all your needs? Is that something that's going to fit your budget? And then if it's not, we can re-engage in the conversation. We can go back and look at alternative dates, alternative options. And if they're saying, yup, it sounds good, next up, okay, how do you spell that last name, sir? Your credit card number, please. Well, thank you for joining us for our 45-minute webinar today. I see we're exactly and precisely at the 45-minute mark. Thank you for carving out time. I know it's still peak season for our summer resort clients. or our few city hotels. Maybe you're slow because everyone's on vacation. But thank you for carving out time out of the middle of your day and middle of your week to join us for our Track Pulse and Resorts and Lodges sponsored webinar. Here's my contact information if you'd like more details on our services. And we hope you join us for the next webinar, which you'll be getting information about just as you did on this one. So thank you again very kindly for joining us, and appreciate your participation today.